All right, so let's first talk about like what we're even looking at. You know what I mean? So we're looking at a floor plan. So far we have talked about each room individually, so you understand what walls are, you understand what the doors and the windows and all that kind of stuff, but we haven't really gone over the dimensions here. You know what I mean? Dimensions can be easy, they can get a little clustered, but once you learn how to read a dimension, it's universal. So it doesn't matter if you're reading dimensions on a floor plan, if you're reading dimensions like out of IKEA furniture, if you're reading it on a mechanical plan, if it's metric, like they're all the same. Like, so the idea is gonna always be the same. So let me explain real quick. So all of you, like, you can have the drawing on your computer if you want, but you could just look up on the board, give me like, a few minutes to explain what a dimension is and why we have to learn how to read them, okay? So for a floor plan, it's a little bit different than others, but the concept's the same. What we're gonna look at is, you try to have a lot of these dimensions on the outside of the house. If you've noticed, you have to have some on the inside. It's like, impossible to not. But you can see that it says like bedroom 2, 12.5 by 9.5. That's saying from the inside of this wall to the inside of this wall is 12.5. Inside to inside is 9.5. So this is more for, trying to develop how much square footage is in the house, like for designing purposes. It's more of a generic thing. If you're actually going to be doing framing, which is like the skeleton of, the building with the 2x4s, you have to use actual dimensions, which would be like these ones up here, okay? And if you look, there's like multiple levels going on here. So the first layer right here, this one says 9'11", that's how you read it. 9, and then the foot symbol, dash 11 inches. So 9'11", that's the measurement. The lines coming up, these are called extension lines. They extend off the object. And notice that they don't touch. Why do you think it'd be a good idea not to touch? Anybody? Andrew? Yeah, you might think it's part of the building. It's going to get a little confusing. You know what I mean? So that's how you'll be able to know you're not looking at a wall or you're looking at an item. If it doesn't touch the building, you're looking at an extension line. Sometimes these line weights and the colors, they're all the same. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to differentiate what you're looking at. But for this point, it's pretty simple, right? The next thing to look at is the dimension line with the arrowheads. Okay, so from this point over to this point, you can see there's arrowheads saying like from here to here is 9'11". So if we move up, you can see this is the same line, but we use this dimension to this extension line because you can tell by the arrowheads that this room is 13 feet. And so what we do is we just go windows and doors for the first line or any other kind of like special object on a wall. The next set of lines will be the overall rooms. And then the last one would be the overall. See where it says 62 feet? And if you look, it comes up, it goes all the way over and then down. Okay? So even if we were inside here and it's getting like real busy and crazy in here, from this window to this wall is 3'1". From this wall to the center of the door is 2'1". But this hallway right here is 4'4". Just little things to look at. It does take a little bit of practice. You will get it. Trust me, just like anything else. It's just, you have to really just pay attention to where the arrowheads are going because it can get confusing. Like over here on the right side. Okay, we're looking at the right side. So from here to this window is 6'4". This bedroom, even though it says it's 12.4 by 11.7, is actually 12'2". Then this one is 13.10. What is the overall length of the house going from top to bottom? 34. What's the length from this corner to this corner? Somebody else? Andrew? 26. Okay? So you use the extension line, even though these all share the same extension line, all the dimension lines and arrowheads will be different. We will get used to this. I'll walk you through it, but just know that's what we're looking at. It doesn't change now from this point forward. Nothing changes. Every dimension, that is how you read it. It doesn't matter what the dimension says, if it's in metric, which direction it's going. You will always look for the extension line and then the arrowheads. Everybody got that? One last little thing to pay attention to. This will make some sense, some it won't, okay? It gets more clear the more drawings that you'll do in here. Notice over here, is this extension line going to the outside of the wall? Yes, right? Is the extension line over here going to the outside of the wall? No, it's going to the what? Andrew? The middle, okay? Now this is, if anybody knows this, and then, you know, kudos to you. Anybody know why we would put the dimension to the middle and not to the, say, inside or outside of the wall? Well, that is why we start on the outside for here, but why does it go to the middle of the wall here? Yeah, that was a good guess, but you're right. Okay, so your studs, what's the size of a normal stud in a house? Not a trick question, it's a pretty simple one. Don't overthink it. How big's a piece of wood on the inside, do you think, made out of the walls? What do you see in the store all the time at Lowe's and Home Depot? What size piece of wood? Ezra? 2x4. Okay, so your whole house is made out of 2x4s. Obviously, like a bigger wall, say like an exterior wall, you might make them 2x6s, but for the most part, all walls are made out of 2x4s. 2x4s are a dime a dozen. You know what I mean? They've been around forever. 2x4s. What's the actual size of a 2x4? Does anybody know? Is it 2x4? It's not. Okay, so that's kind of like a nice little thing to know. 2x4s over the years have changed depending on the manufacturer. It's really hard to say that it's exactly 2x4. So sometimes they may be 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. Some of them might be 1 7/8 by 3 1/2. Like, they vary quite a bit. So that is why we would measure to the center. Okay, so the center is the center. It doesn't matter how wide it is. It doesn't matter how deformed it is. The center's the center. So you could have like 1 inch on either side of the center for the 2x4. You could have 4 inches. But when you're doing this in a floor plan, when you're doing a framing plan, when the construction workers show up, they will measure to the center of every single one. Come on in. Because it's like, it doesn't change at all. Shelby? Which one's it for? Oh, Carly. I thought it was for Shelby. Sorry. It was a good guess. So that's why we will read these from the center. Okay, everybody? That's where you get those. Just in case any of you are wondering, like, why is this one on the outside? And why is this one, in the middle? That's why. All right? Obviously, we have our doors, we have our windows, we have our fixtures, we have some steps, we have a fireplace, our bathroom, we have a tub, a toilet, a sink. So it's just nice to look at a plan before you replicate it to see what's going on. Here's a front door. This is an exterior door. Remember, this line right here is what makes this different than this one, right? So this is an interior door. You should always try to have your doors swing in when possible. And this is just a bigger window, so on and so forth, okay? All right, now, as we begin to draw this, it's really doesn't matter if we started down here, if we started up here, over here. It usually doesn't matter. I'm going to start in the top left, just the way I learned how to do it, so I'll show all of you how. But we're going to draw a wall, an exterior wall, from here over, and we're going to make it 62 feet. Then we're going to go down and then over. Okay, so just follow along with me. I'm going to kind of go slow and explain things along the way. So now we're here in our program. We're going to go up to the top left where it says, well, it doesn't say, but it has the wall icon right here. Click the wall icon. On the left side in your tool palette, you can see you have exterior walls. That's the one you want to have selected. And then somewhere up here in the top left of your drawing area, click and hold. Start moving your cursor to the right, and you can see you're starting to make a wall. Make sure that it's straight. It's not crooked, okay? It's straight. I don't care how long the wall is. Just move it to the right some distance. Let go, and then hit escape. You're always going to want to hit escape on your keyboard. Always, okay? Now some of us may be zoomed in really, really close like this. Some of us may be zoomed out really, really far. On your mouse, because it doesn't have a wheel, it still has the center of your mouse as a sensor. So you can move your finger up and down on your mouse, the magic mouse, and it'll zoom in and out. It's a little difficult though. It's one thing I don't like about these. Wherever you put your cursor is where it'll zoom in. So if you have your cursor over here to the left, it'll zoom in on the left. If you have it on the right, it zooms in to the right. If you want it in the center, put it in the center, okay? If you're like getting frustrated and it's not zooming the way you want, over on the right side of your screen, so everybody look on the wall, over here there's a few buttons right here. So there's zoom in, zoom out, make a window, undo a zoom, fill the window, and pan. Okay, so P is for pan. What you can do is if it's not working correctly, just come over here to the one with the 4 arrows. This one is the one I use all the time. And I click it, and you can see it puts the wall in your viewing area to fit. So now you can like zoom out and move it around. I'm not sure if P is set up on yours or not, but if you hit P on your keyboard, a little hand will pop up, and you can click and hold and move it around. So you can like zoom in and out, hit pan to move it. Remember to always hit escape when you're done doing stuff though, okay? So those are just some ways that you can move around your screen to help you if like you can't see what's going on. So now that we have one wall, okay, to change the distance of the wall, hit escape a few times like I said. Click on the wall, and you should get a measurement that'll pop up. Everybody see you get a measurement? Yours will be different than mine. Doesn't matter what it says. Click on it once. Another dialog box will pop up. This is where you can change the amount. Okay? So what we want to change ours to is we can like highlight all that in there, click and hit backspace or delete or whatever inside of here. And you're going to change it to 62 and the foot symbol, which is next to the enter key on your keyboard. So it'll look like that, 62 feet. Once you do that, you hit enter, hit escape, use that zoom button to kind of zoom out a little bit. So now you have a wall that is 62 feet in length. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now just repeat those same steps over and over and over again until we get the perimeter of our house. I'll have you guys then save it, and then I'll walk around and help anybody that needs help, okay? So let's go back to the wall button up at the top. You're going to select the first one that says straight exterior. Come over here towards the right side of that wall you just made. And you can see as I hover over it, a little like square, like pink square shows up. That's a snapping point. That lets you know you're exactly on the end of the wall, so you don't have like a little less or a little more. It's exactly at the end of that wall. That's when you click and hold and you bring your cursor down a certain amount. It doesn't matter. I know you can try to get it perfect with the numbers, like just moving it, but don't worry about it. It's always best to hit escape, click on it, edit the number. So I made it, I let go, hit escape a couple times, click on that new wall I just made, zoom into the number, daggone man, I got it. Change it, so that one's 26 feet, if yours wasn't. Hit escape, zoom out. So what we've done so far is we drew this wall here. We're not adding windows or doors or gaps or anything. We're just putting a wall in, solid wall here. Later on we'll do doors, windows, and all that stuff. And then I came down 26 feet. The next thing I want to do is come to the left. And again, looking at my dimensions, right? I look at my extension line. So not this group, but then this group. So from here to here is 18 foot 1. So I'm going to hit the wall button. I'm going to click on the end that I just made. Click and hold. Bring it to the left a certain amount. It doesn't matter. Let go. Hit escape. Click on it. Click on the dimension. And change that dimension to 18 foot 1. So this is how you could do feet and inches if you want. You don't have to put the inch symbol in there if you don't want to. You don't have to put a space in there if you don't want to. The program is smart enough to know that is 18 foot 1 inches. Okay? However you want to do it, all three ways give you the same measurement for consistency and speed. I just don't use a space and don't use the inch marker. So 18 foot 1, hit enter, hit escape. Now I have 62 feet, 26, 18, 1. Hit the wall button, click on the end of the new one, come down, let go, hit escape, click on it, change that amount to 8 foot, hit enter, hit escape. See how it's the same steps over and over and over and over and over again? It's really not that hard. It just takes some practice. Hit the wall button, click on the end, move it to the left, hit escape. Click on it, change that number to 26 foot 10. So it'll look like that, 2610. Hit enter, hit escape. Now real quickly I'll show you guys something if you just want to look up on the wall. I could draw just like we've been doing, right? Hit the wall button, click here, go up, let go, hit escape, click on it, change that to 8. Or if I hit the wall button and I click and hold, see how it stops itself? Gives me like a little like hesitant. That's letting me know that I'm even with the other wall. Most walls in architecture and residential buildings are perpendicular and parallel to each other, so it's like a built-in feature that says, it's just nice for speed. I'm the same distance here. Do I want to accept it? You would then just let go. So now it's the same as the other one, which is what we wanted anyway. And then I want to connect this end to that end up here. Same thing. As I move it to the left, it kind of stops and hesitates and draws a little line in for me. I can wait for that to pop up, or I can just type in 17 foot 1. Either way, I let go, hit escape, click the wall button, connect these two, and poof. It adds a bunch of dimensions on there for you, gives you the square footage of your house. Okay, so if yours says 1827, we're good. Okay, and that is the exterior of your house. We're going to go ahead and save. So go up to the File pull-down menu up here at the top. File. Since it's our first save of our project, we're going to go to Save As. Save As. You'll get a dialog box here. We're going to change this to Project 1. Come on. So change this to Project 1. You can type out the word 1, I don't care. And then where, for right now, always save it to your desktop. Desktop should be an option on here somewhere. Desktop. And then hit save. Alright. It should always be on there for that. What time do we got? So that's the exterior walls.